they usually start the training or want the training is when something is happening or something has occurred or someone has at work maybe transitioning or started transition or been misgendered. And that's when we usually, we get the phone call or email, right? So, and part of that, there's a few employers who usually would have the training like without a problem or anything. But for the most part, it's usually when it's a problem. And that's when, we're called in to kind of like resolve this problem, which is often a training doesn't do that. But I think those who have the training, often parts of it are parts of the employer, the workforce would get the training. Some wouldn't get the training. Management would feel like, we don't need the training. You folks need it. If you're only working frontline, you need the training. And that's the part that creates a lot of conflict within the workplace. So most of the time, not all the staff has the training. So they don't start off on the same page. And that's, usually problematic to begin with. Often they might have parts of the training. So they might, sometimes there's a 101, 102. So some folks might have a 101 and then they don't have the 102. There's not a lot of follow-up after the training, which we highly recommend. And that's also a piece that falls into, because we often say like with this study that this is something now you could implement as part of your policy, and they don't usually follow up with it. So there are many pieces to it that employers usually fail on their behalf. Sometimes they blame it on, money, we can't afford it, so we can only afford some staff to have it, all these different pieces that, and we usually recommend like all staff have the training, follow-up training, and then we can come in and support you with whatever you need. And that's usually, how it goes. From an intersectional approach too, right? So we tell them, trans people are not just trans people. We have so many multi-layered identities and, all these different aspects to the life, and the staff that's working there will have that too. And you might be addressing the trans issues, but you also need to look at people, from an intersectional lens. And that's where also there's problems. We often tell them that this training should be mandatory. So it should be the same training that everybody should receive, for example, like crisis counseling or whatever the organization, some of those trainings that you have to do, like health and safety or whatever. And that's also something that's highly recommended to them.